hi everybody. Yes, I am still meteorologist Eric Thomas, and that means I still love the sky, I still love science, and well, you know what's going on by now, I would hope. Monday, April 8th, the next total solar eclipse will be happening here in the United States, and I think that's going to be the last one in my lifetime. So it's pretty exciting, and yes, I, along with parts of my family, have plans on heading out to Clinton, Arkansas, of all places. Totality going to be running right through that area, but maybe if you're still thinking about it, you have a lot of options. This thing is going to be rolling up the shadow, of course, of the moon from Mexico through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, again, up through the mid-Mississippi Valley. Then you're talking about Indianapolis, Cleveland, Buffalo. I mean, you could fly into those areas and literally just fall out of the airplane and watch it. And then beyond that, it'll head on up through Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So you know by now I love filming, and I have a lot of camera gear and gadgets, but one thing I've added to my toolbox for this event is this guy. It's a tracking mount, which will help me track the sun when I want to photograph it coming up next month. Now this is the Skywatcher Star Adventure GTI. It looks pretty impressive, but it was only about $500 in this day and age. That's not much to pay for a pretty good piece of technology, but the idea behind this, and we're going to show you here in just a minute, is this thing will track the sun as it goes across the sky. And that way, when I'm taking a time lapse of the sun, which can take a couple of hours actually, this thing will keep my camera pointed right at the sun, which will hopefully make for a nice smooth experience. Now the camera I'm going to be using right here, this is my Sony A9 II, and along with it I have also the Sony Grandmaster 2 70 to 200 millimeter telephoto lens. But in addition to this, I'm also going to be putting on here a 2x teleconverter. So this is going to take my 70 to 200 millimeter lens all the way up to a 400 millimeter zoom. So that's going to help for you camera buffs. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so let's go on out into the driveway and I'll give you a quick look at the Star Mount Sky Tracker. Again, it's not going to be a tutorial because I don't want to bore you, but we'll just run through real quickly how I kind of get the whole thing set up. Okay, so we're out here in the backyard and I have now this mount attached to this tripod. I've also put the camera on top of the mount, and also I want to point out this now, if you're ever thinking about shooting the sun, especially when it's bright, not like a low sunset, this is what you're looking for. This is a solar filter. This will prevent your camera sensor from getting burned out by that bright sun. So that's very, very important. All right, you can get those on Amazon. All right, so in the meantime, I've got this now not only on the tripod, but I've pointed it north. Now at nighttime, it's great because you have the North Star. It's got a little scope on here that allows you to really align it precisely. And if you can get it aligned precisely with the North Star, then the tracking and everything else falls into line. It's really, really good. The daytime, you don't have that North Star. So what do? You take a guess. But along with it, well, most of you, maybe you have a compass, you know, on your smartphone. So what you can do is you can take your compass and try to find north as best as you can, all right? And then you're basically taking a guess. You're kind of lining it up with the north, well, not the North Star, but at least with that northern direction. All right, then after that, you get your camera mounted on here. You want to make sure that this is level, the tripod. There's a little bit of a bubble leveler on there. So that's the next thing. And also you want to be able to tilt this thing in advance in relation to what your latitude is, okay, on the Earth. So right here in Charlotte, we're about 35 degrees north latitude. So there's a scale on here that allows you to tilt this thing up. So you got that. So you want it level, you want the right latitude, you want it pointing north. Those are the big three. You get that going, and then hopefully we can do the rest. And not only find our target, but then be able to track it. Okay, let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna go to the sun now on my app. This thing is connected with this thing with a little mini Wi-Fi circuit. So I'm gonna go to the sun and we're gonna say go to, and let's see if this works out. Ready? All right, here we go. See if we can see this doing its thing back here. I can move the camera a little bit closer, see if that helps. And because the sun's behind us, look, it's coming around our way. And there it is. All right, so let me pull this back just a little bit. So we got that thing, we think, pointed at the sun, but let me come back around here and check it. And boom, okay, we have the sun in the viewfinder. It's not perfectly centered, but I can certainly make these minor adjustments. But let me go ahead and take the camera off of its mount. All right, let's come back to the camera here, the other camera, and let me show you what happened here. So look at this. Do you see the sun? Boy, it's going to be hard to see. Okay, there it is. I think you can see it. See the sun there behind those tree branches? How about that? Okay, so the trick here is the mount not only finds the sun and gets it for me, but then it tracks the sun. All right, that will keep the sun in the middle of the picture frame. And so that'll give it an hour or more for that shadow to come in, take a bite out of the sun, hit the total solar eclipse, and then eventually move off. And that'll keep the sun in the frame, because if you're not tracking it, that sun will move out of that frame in a real big hurry. So hopefully this will work out. You only get one shot at it. And if you can't make the total solar eclipse, well, come on back here, and if I do get some good imagery, you can bet I'll be sharing all of it here, either on my Facebook page or the other social media channels. But so keep an eye on this channel here, and certainly we'll be sharing whatever it is I come up with. All right, we'll be back. Stay tuned.